Welcome once again to our amazing channel. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the documents that you need to apply for your study visa, for Canada study visa. So, what are the documents that you need in order to, submit your application? In fact, these documents have to be ready before you even begin the study visa application. Take note, these documents have to, because your study visa application is expected to be completed within 60 days from the date you begin the application. So to avoid deleting your application after that expiration of time, then it's better for you to prepare your documents handy before you begin your application. Then it is also important to note that the documents that are required they vary from one program to another. For example, the document that a master's degree applicant is required to submit his study visa application is quite different from the document that a degree applicant need to submit his study visa application. So take note. And also it's different from the ones that a high school graduates are required to provide in order to submit their visa application, study visa application. So but we are going to touch probably all of them, all the documents in this video, and explain their importance and their relevance and how you can actually go about them. So please, if you have not subscribed to this amazing channel, I encourage you to do so now, so that you become part of our family as we continue to grow, and hit the notification button so that whenever we drop content, you'll be notified. Without much ado, and let us go straight into the discussion. The first document on our list here, I'll be looking down sometimes because I have it listed out so that I will not I will not miss any of these important information. So don't be offended if you see me looking down on the sheet. So the first document on our list is LOA, Letter of Acceptance. So letter of acceptance is a document issued to you by the designated learning institution. So each province has a list of designated learning institutions that have been approved by the government, to carry out, or to offer admissions to international students in various programs. Yes. So these schools, the list of these schools can be found on IRCC portal. Go to IRCC portal, search for DLI schools, and you can see the list there. So before you start the application, it is always advisable that you confirm that such an institution that you've been advised to apply to is a DLI school, which is very, very important. So the first document, as we mentioned, is that letter of acceptance. The letter of acceptance is once you must have applied to a school, then the school will go through your application, and if they accept it, yes, they will now issue a document called letter of acceptance, where they will explain, the fees you are required to pay, the commencement dates of your program, when the program is expected to be completed, the address of the school, and so on and so forth. All this information will be contained in that letter of application. So you need that document during your study visa application. Now, 2, a receipt of payment for tuition deposits. Once you've been offered admission by one of these DLI schools, you are expected to make a tuition deposit. Part of some schools charge like 1,000 Canadian dollars, some charge less, some charge more. So you are expected to make that deposit within a period of time to secure a seat in that particular school. If you don't make that deposit within a specified period of time, you may lose that admission. So it's very important that you make that deposit, and then a receipt will be issued to you by that school. That receipt is very, very important. It's part of your, in fact, it's part of your proof of fund. Yes, you're going to attach it as part of your proof of fund. Reference letter. If you are working, if you are applying for a master's degree program, if you are applying for a master's degree program, definitely you need a reference letter, introduction letter from your place of employment. Yes, you need that letter from your place of employment to attach to your application. So the next document on our list is international passport. So international passport, of course, I know you know what international passport is, and the most important thing about this document is the validity. The validity must be at least, must be at least 1 year, and apart from being 1 year, it's supposed to be more than the duration of your study. If, for example, your study is a diploma of 2 years program, then the validity on your international passport is expected to be more than 2 years, because the study permits that will be issued to you will be based on the duration of your study, and the study permits will not be more than the validity of your international passport. I hope you get that. So the next document here is marriage certificate. If you are married and you would like your spouse to be joining you sooner or later, then you are expected to add your marriage certificate. And also, remember, your name might have changed. So your marriage certificate will serve as, a document to prove your name change. Yes, from your maiden name to your married name. So the surname must have changed. Your marriage certificate is important. It's part of the document you require to prove, to explain the changes in that your name. Birth certificate. Birth certificate is another document that you need. In fact, especially if you are using a sponsor, and that sponsor happens to be somebody of an extended family member, so your birth certificate and that person's birth certificate will help to prove family tie, that there is actually a relationship that exists between you and your sponsor. So your birth certificate authenticates your former name if you are married. It also helps in proving your family tie, and also in describing your relationship you have with your sponsor. Then, also talking about change of name, you also have other documents like affidavits. Yes, if you need an affidavit too, in order to attach to your application, in order to prove that there's a change of name, in your application. Proof of financial support. This is a bank statement, either your own bank statement. If you are sponsoring yourself, if it's self-sponsorship, then you need your own bank account statement in order to to attach to your application. If it's external sponsorship, third-party sponsorship, maybe your spouse, your parents, or any other family member, or even a friend, then you also need the bank account statement of that individual who is to serve as your sponsor. It's very, very important. At least 4 months bank statement of anybody who is to serve as support. If you are sponsoring yourself, then you have to submit your own personal bank account statement. But if you are using a third-party sponsor, then that person will also need to submit his or her bank account statement. We have study permit application. Study permit application is a form that you download from the IRCC portal in the course of your study visa application. That form, you fill it. It contains information that they need to know regarding your study. So you download it and you fill it in PDF. Then you are going to attach it in the course of that application. Temporary resident visa. Remember, temporary resident visa is different from your study permits. Your study permit will be issued to you at the point of entry when you arrive in Canada. But your temporary resident visa is a visa that will allow you to stay in Canada within the period of time that you want to study. So they are two independent, they are two separate documents that you must attach. Passport size photograph. You need a digital photo, which must be a white background, and the dimension of that photo has to be, according to the IRCC specification. I don't know if the specification have changed for now, but you can visit the IRCC portal. From there you can see the specifications for the size. But then if you walk up to any photo studio, they actually know the size for this digital photo for visa applications, and they can actually produce the right one for you. Police clearance certificate. Police clearance certificate, is a document that will be issued to you by your local police station. It's like a criminal check, to check if you have any history of criminality, conviction, or charges against you in that country. So it's important you get this document from a local police station in your country. They will issue that document. They will charge a fee, or I don't know, depends on one country to another. So it may be free and a fee may be attached. Here in Nigeria, a fee is always attached to it, and you have to make payments and obtain that particular document. So it's needed in your application. Language test results. If you are coming from a country where English or French is not your first language of study, Canada is a bilingual country. Therefore, it's either English or French must be your first language of study. So if English or French is your first language of study, you don't need an English proficiency test or a language proficiency test in order to prove your ability to communicate in any of these two languages. So if you're coming from countries like Nigeria, Ghana, where your first language of study is English, you don't need to provide one as far as Canada is concerned. The next one is family information. This is another form that you have to download from the IRCC portal. Family information is a form you download, is a PDF form you download, and you fill all your family information, parents, spouse, children, and so on and so forth, their date of birth, their addresses, and everything is contained in that form. So you need to download, fill it, and also attach it in the course of your application. Education credential evaluation. If you are applying for master's degree program or PhD degree program, therefore, some schools will require that you produce CES, a document that will be issued by an education credential evaluation organization to assess the equivalence of your qualification in comparison with Canada standard. SOP or letter of explanation, letter of intent, personal statement, is the same thing, the same document, but different names. So SOP is your personal statement where you will write what the visa officer need to know regarding you and your application, the reasons why you want to come to Canada, the reasons why you want to spend this huge amount of money to come and study in their country. What is the gain? What is the return of investment? What are you going to gain in investing this amount of money? What's the reason behind you coming to study there? You need to explain, you need to convince him or her that these are the reasons why I want to study. And you also need to convince him or her that after your study, you are returning back to your home country. These are the reasons why you want to study, and you are studying for this or for that and for this. And therefore, after your study, you are returning back to your country in order to improve in this or that or this. So it's very, very important that you add all this information in your letter of explanation. You also need to explain about your financial support. What source are you getting your financial support? What is the source of fund? Is it self-sponsorship? Is it from your family member who is sponsoring you? What's the relationship between you and the person? This information will have to be contained in that letter of explanation or statement of purpose. Now, letter of introduction. Letter of introduction of your sponsor. Yes, so your sponsor will provide a letter of introduction from the place of employment, from his or her place of employment. introducing him that he has been with us or he has been with this company for a period of so time to so time, and his salary and his information regarding that employment will be stated in that introduction letter. He will also attach, if he has promotions in that organization that he's been working with, he will also attach promotion letter. It's another document that he will attach to prove that yes, he is capable of sponsoring you, is capable of providing all the financial support that you need during the course of your study. Letter of employment is also another document that, apart from letter of introduction, letter of employment is another document that your sponsor must provide from his place of employment. If he's not employed, if he's a businessman or a businesswoman, the person will also provide the details of his business, such as the certificate of registration of the business, his ID card, and other information regarding the business, the registration, the MEMATs, another document relating to that business will have to be provided, as well as the bank statement of that business. So these information are needed, if the sponsor is a business person. It's not an employee. It's not an employee of an organization. Bank statements, accounts. We have talked about this earlier. Your own bank statement, if you are doing if it's self-sponsorship, or the bank statement of the person sponsoring you. If you have landed properties, or if your sponsor have landed properties, your spouse have landed properties, you can attach the document, you can evaluate it. The document you need is the value of that property, the value of that that landed property. Attach the value of the property to your application. Explain it in your SOP that these properties are also available for liquidation, conversion to cash at any point in time in case you run out of cash in Canada, and your sponsor is willing to sell this property in order to recoup money and cash for you to be able to continue your study and finish it. So if you have landed properties, please attach them. It's also a form of proof of home ties, that your family have so thing. Therefore, when you finish your study, you are coming back, because you also have a home where you can fall back on. Education transcript and certificates. Yes, certificates or an education transcript. So if you are applying for a master's degree program, definitely your transcripts are needed. You need to supply this transcript of your degree program. Yes. If you're applying for PhD too, then your transcripts of your master's, the certificates, the transcript of your degree certificates are needed in order for you to apply. And also in the course of the visa application. Upfront medicals. Upfront medical is a document, is something that you need to do before this visa application. That means a medical checkup, a medical examination that you will carry out in an approved medical center, approved by the IRCC in your country, where you can run these medical checks and examination, and they will provide you with a document or a report. That report, you are going to attach it in the course of your visa application or study visa application. So upfront medical document is another document that you need before you start your visa application. Your CV and resume. Your CV and resume, as we said, depends if you are applying for, if your study visa application is for a master's degree or for a PhD, or even if it's a diploma, and in your application you have indicated that you've already had a form of education in the past, you've already had a degree, you've already had a diploma, you've already had a master's, you've mentioned this somehow, somewhere in your application, or even in the school admission application, then you also need to provide proof that yes, you actually have or have done this program in the past. So you need to add these documents add this information in your CV and resume. Your CV and resume will have to indicate, you have to prove that yes, you've had this education in the past and you've been working in so place, you have worked here, you have worked here. So this information will have to be contained in your resume so that it can boost, it can, convince the visa officer that yes, you are qualified and you are eligible for this study visa because you have been doing this, you have been working in social field, and now you want to advance your knowledge or experience or expertise in that field that you have been working. So your CV or resume is important in the course of your study visa application, especially if it is a master's degree study application or a PhD study visa application. So these are all the documents that we have discussed and explained. So please, if you have any question, feel free to drop it on the comment section, and we'll be willing to attend to them as soon as possible. If you've not subscribed, please try to subscribe immediately so that you become part of our family, and then you also get information and notification whenever we drop content and videos like this on this channel. Please subscribe, share, and like our videos so that it will encourage us to do more of them. We want as many people as possible to apply for their study visa come 2024, and they'll be successful at the end of the day. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in our next video.